This here is a town of mimics, who have a whole symbiotic ecosystem with the people of the town of Normaville. So how did a mimic colony like this show up in the world? Well, let's just think, what does a mimic need? 1 is food, it needs people. 2 is water, so that's why I based this on a little river here, and then it needs something to camouflage into. Phase 1, mimic in a dungeon. Occasionally, adventurers will go in, mimically, happy days. But let's say lots of adventurers start showing up to this dungeon. Mr. Mimic here, he doesn't need to eat every single one of them. And over time, they evolve to only eat, say, 1 in 3 or 1 in 10 adventurers that mess around in the dungeon, otherwise they just hide. Because this leads to the reward of having more people in a settlement around the dungeon, and have smaller people who are then going to turn into food in the dungeon. Eventually, the mimics might migrate out into the major town itself. Now, the ones that aren't sneaky, they're going to die, so the ones that are sneakiest are going to get into the town. Which brings us to phase 2, the infested town. Mimics are everywhere. They're in the castle, they're in all the houses, but they've evolved to be relatively sneaky. So initially we have a rising population of people and a rising population of mimics. But eventually, to keep this growth of mimics, they're going to be having to eat more and more people. Now, in a normal ecosystem, this wouldn't be too bad, you'd end up in a balancing point. But people are really annoying. And so eventually, with all the missing people, all the disappearances, all the people are going to eventually just say, screw this town, we're leaving, there's nothing for us, there's a bigger city down the road, we're going to go there. But that means no more food, and therefore no more mimics. This has so far been the backstory for this town. Because you see, at least 1 mimic survived. Occasionally, people would come and visit the abandoned town or the dungeon, and so you'd have enough food to maintain a very small population. I'm imagining a single roadside chest, which would eventually become a roadside cart and a roadside chest. With the mimics that survived, this population collapse being the ones that are most likely to be patient and the most likely to understand the ecosystem and the new rules for maintaining a population of people. And eventually this will transform into an inn as they realize more people will stop and stay by the lovely lake if they have somewhere to sleep. So evolving up from tents into a smaller inn into a bigger inn. Acting all abandoned so that people stay, but eventually allowing someone to come in and look after the inn, maintain it a little bit. That would lead to more people, and so the mimics start growing out the houses and places people can live. In the town of Normaville, there are very few criminals. It seems like if you commit a crime, you mysteriously vanish. There are more disappearances than most towns, but it's a prosperous town and it's growing very quickly. Let's just hope no one finds the old books in the abandoned wizard tower. I had this idea yesterday. I bashed this out in like 3 hours. I was in a craze, but oh, I love this idea. Let me know if you think that works in the comments, or if you have your own ideas. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day. Okay, bye.